Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a while, but I'm back. Took a break. This is a very controversial subject. Older women with younger men and older men with younger women. To each his own, right? I mean, there's no right or wrong answer to this. It's pretty much to each his own. So let's see what they're talking about.
老公，
哎，
你会永远爱我吗？
当然啦，如果给我生个儿子就更好了。
Oh,
我可以。
只要是我们的孩子，我都喜欢。
haha.
你一个问题，50岁的女人一般
Let me ask you a question.
Go ahead.
What age group do 50-year-old women usually prefer in men?
Oh boy.
20s, 30s, 40s, or 50s? If you think the answer is 40s or 50s, you might be underestimating the changes in modern women's preferences. Nowadays, many 50-year-old women prefer younger men, like
Most women do not look at men that could be their son's age. I mean, let's just keep it real. But then again, you have those rare percentage of women that will go younger because they couldn't find anybody, or when they were that age, they rejected all of their options. They were too picky. They were doing some kind of sex work, yada yada. You get it. At the time, they didn't want a man because with the money they was making or given by older men, which they didn't want to settle with either, that pretty much fades out over time, right? So now they have to aim younger because the men their age won't give them time of day. Because as we all know, science proved that older men, or just men in general, tend to be attracted or want younger partners. I'm not talking about the 50, 60-year-old perverts that retire and flock to third world countries to buy 10, 15-year-old women. I'm talking about just people living regular lives. That's what I'm talking about.
those in their 20s or 30s. And why is that? Because men in this age range bring energy, vitality, and enthusiasm, qualities that can renew and inspire a more mature woman. Moreover, the age difference is no longer seen as a problem by many women. On the contrary, being with a younger man can make them feel more confident, alive, and connected to a more dynamic lifestyle. Another key point is that at 50, many women have already achieved emotional and financial independence. They are no longer looking for a provider, but rather for someone to share fun and enjoyable moments with.
Like trips to Cabo and all that, you know, going overseas. Baby, you got your passport? Come on, baby, I'll get you your passport.
Free from the pressures of a traditional relationship. Do you agree with me?
跟大家讲，我之前不是在健身房做那个健身教练吗？我有个大客户，是一个大。
Do you know what it truly means to be supported by someone? If someone gave you 200,000 to support your life, what would you choose to do? Let me share a story with you. Before, I worked as a gym instructor. I met many people, but there was one client who stood out. She was a businesswoman in her early 40s, but she looked like she was in her late 20s. She was stunning, well-maintained, strong, independent, and she always seemed to have everything under control. She would come to me not just for workouts, but for life advice about business, relationships, and personal growth. She was someone you would think had everything figured out. But everything changed one day.
You're strong and independent until you're not. Whatever you got going on today, there's going to be a day of when it's no longer going on. Tell me what you gonna do.
She started showing a different side of herself. Her confident and independent attitude began to waver. She became distant, detached, unresponsive. When I asked her if everything was okay, she just shook her head or changed the subject. One evening, after a workout, she invited me out for a drink.
Uh-oh.
I noticed something was wrong, so I decided to join her. We went to a bar. The atmosphere was intense. She began to drink more, and slowly, her inner walls started to crumble. She confessed something that left me in shock. Her husband had betrayed her. I couldn't believe it. She, who always appeared so in control, so strong, was now vulnerable and shattered.
You are until you're not. Like I said. So it sounds like he did the unbelievable. I'm assuming he cheated. He didn't really go into detail of what happened, but I'm assuming another woman was involved in the relationship.
She shared how she and her husband had grown up together. how they were childhood friends, partners through thick and thin. She said she never imagined he would do something like that. That moment made me question everything. My life, my choices, my relationships. I could have taken advantage of her vulnerability, like so many people around me do. In my social circle, in gyms and clubs.
And see, some of my old friends from way back in high school, they're like, yeah, that's the best time to get them is when they're down about something. And I'm like, yeah, but when you're around them when they're not down, they didn't look at you like that. So what makes you think they want you just because they're down? Sounds like some taken advantage of. That's what it sounds like.
I see many older women who are widows or divorced. They are often deceived by younger men, who show up out of nowhere, driving shiny new cars, but never working a real job. Men who speak beautiful words, who promise love and loyalty.
I don't know anybody that does that, but we all know working a 9 to 5 is played out. That's why these guys aren't working regular Monday through Friday jobs, because they found out ways to make money online, so-called businesses, scammers, all that's on the rise. So it's easy to get by nowadays without working a traditional 9 to 5. I don't want to work in Amazon.
But only deliver fleeting moments of illusion. I've seen friends who suddenly appear with a new car, and we never saw them working for it. It's a world of appearances, of fleeting success, where image and social standing become more important than integrity and effort. That night with her, I saw firsthand the reality of a broken relationship. She became someone I barely recognized. Her emotions were raw, uncontrollable, her strength evaporating in the harsh reality of betrayal. She showed me that in life, we all wear masks until something breaks us. But when we're truly honest with ourselves, that's when we see who we really are. I realized I don't want a future built on shortcuts or illusions. I don't want a life where I rely on someone else to lift me up. I want to build something real, something lasting, something that brings pride and satisfaction.
Yeah, and see, the thing is, these age gap relationships, how long do they last? A lot of these people won't even marry. I mean, let's just keep it real. But yeah, what he's saying is basically he wants everything to be worked for, so then he could look back and feel good about it. Like, yeah, I didn't have to rely on this person. And see, basically, a lot of these guys that are looking for older women, especially if they're old enough to be their mother, a lot of times they're just looking for a mother, especially if she's buying it and paying for everything. So something like that would make me feel bad. I don't even know if I could do that. I'm like, okay, I got a woman, but she's paying for everything and I ain't got to do nothing. That'll make me feel less of a man. But that's okay to some guys, because depending on where they grew up at. And then as far as them buying new cars, most people that buy cars, especially if they're young, they're still living at home with family. So they're able to do that. The guys that you see pulling up in these new cars probably don't even pay rent. So of course they'll be able to have an extra $600-700 a month to splurge on a new car. So don't get it twisted. Yeah, you got expensive electric cars and everything, but the garage you park it in, you don't pay for it. That's somebody else's garage that you're putting it in.
Not just wealth. I want to earn my success through effort, discipline, and commitment. I want a future where I can look in the mirror and know that everything I achieved was built on hard work, integrity, and respect. I want to show other people that success is possible, without compromising your morals, without selling your soul to quick deals and fleeting opportunities. We live in a world where appearances can deceive, but true success is grounded in commitment, persistence, and resilience. It's about standing tall even when life tries to knock you down. I want to inspire others to chase dreams that bring fulfillment, to build careers and relationships that stand the test of time. I want to live a life that leaves a legacy of honesty, respect, and dedication. Let's stop chasing illusions. Let's stop living in a world of temporary gains.
And you know, homeboy is right. A lot of people are living off of illusions. But then there's a reason why people do that. There's trouble in paradise. So they use that as a facade to get through day by day life. you know, it's kind of like going into work knowing you shouldn't be there because you don't feel good, but you're going to pretend that it's like any other ordinary day when you do feel good. You don't feel like being bothered with people. Your head hurts and you just want to sleep.
Let's build a life that's meaningful. A life that brings respect and self-respect. A life where we can look back and say, I earned this. Not through shortcuts, not through compromise, but through commitment, hard work, and purpose. That's the kind of life I want. That's the kind of future I'll fight for. Not just success, but significance. Not just wealth, but worth. Not just appearances, but substance. Let's aim to live with integrity, to succeed with purpose, and to inspire others not only with our achievements, but with how we achieved them, honestly, diligently, and with an unwavering commitment to who we truly are.
Yeah, he's right.
为什么60岁的女人还喜欢
Why a 47-year-old woman chased a younger man and
Oh,
lost
boy.
everything. I'm 47 years old. I've lived a life full of struggles, work, motherhood, and moments where I stood tall despite everything life threw at me. But there comes a time when we all reflect on what we missed, on the dreams we let slip away. I saw older men chasing after young women, trying to rewrite their stories, feeling like they were still young and desirable. And I thought, why shouldn't I have that chance too? Why can't I, too, find a younger man and reignite the spark I once believed in? I wanted love. I wanted passion. I wanted that thrilling feeling of being desired, of being wanted by someone who saw me as more than just an older woman. So I stepped into that world, hoping to find happiness, to reclaim the love I felt I had left behind.
And like I said, most older women aren't even looking at younger men like that. I said most, not all. Now, when they did the science, it's science that older men are attracted and want younger women. That might be for, you know, the ability to produce more children, or they just don't look at them as leftovers. But then they didn't do a scale for older women who they're attracted to, or they did. Younger women are usually attracted to older men for this, right? Because how many Barney Rubble looking dudes do you see with younger attractive women? Which, you know, these guys wouldn't have those women if they didn't have any kind of money or resources. Let's just keep it real.
I believed I deserved someone who would make me feel alive again, who would cherish me, someone who would make me feel radiant and special. At first, everything seemed magical. He was younger, confident, full of charm, exactly the kind of man I had dreamed about. He showed me laughter, trips, expensive dinners, and whispered promises of a future together where we'd thrive as partners. It felt like a dream, but dreams often turn into nightmares. He took everything, my heart, my trust, and my money. He lied about investments, about opportunities, about the future we would have. He told stories of businesses that didn't exist, about wealth that was just a fantasy. He manipulated me, using my desire for love and happiness against me.
Completely scammed her. So that's the problem with these older women wanting younger guys. There's a large chance that they're going to be prey and taken advantage of, which most likely happens. Knowing damn well if she didn't have this money and wasn't financially stable, I don't know.
Until I found myself completely stripped of financial security. The man I trusted turned into a shadow, disappearing as quickly as he appeared, leaving me with debts and a shattered sense of self. I had tried to follow the same path older men take, seeking a young partner to rediscover passion and joy. But I became the cautionary tale instead.
But see, here's the thing. Men don't go after younger men to relive their adolescent years. That's something that women would do. Because, see, we could walk past a 50-year-old man and won't realize that he was 50 years old because he's in shape and he looked like me. I'm like, wow, that's crazy. It's like, okay, I'm 36. Most women my age won't look this young at 36. So if I'm standing next to a 36-year-old woman, she's probably going to look older than me and be about an extra 100 pounds heavier than me, right? So it's stuff to look at.
I became a woman who had given everything for a fleeting illusion, only to end up disillusioned and betrayed. But I've come to see this experience not just as a loss, but as a wake-up call.
Oh.
Love shouldn't be about chasing youth or fleeting desires. It should be about respect, mutual support, and real connection. A relationship should lift us, not tear us down. We need partners who stand by us, not those who use us as stepping stones for their own ambitions. I've learned that self-love and self-respect are the foundations of any meaningful connection. Before seeking someone else's love, we need to find love within ourselves. We need to recognize our own worth, our own journey, and cherish everything we've built. So I ask you, how far would you go for love? Have you ever experienced something like this? A relationship where you gave everything, only to be left with nothing? Share your story in the comments.
Yeah, that hasn't happened to anybody I know, but if it is probably about to happen to somebody that I know, because, you know, it's just all a process. Just one day you wake up, all your shit is gone. Your investments, your money, everything. You're left with barely enough money to pay the mortgage or the rent. That's some shit right there. Hope she got some money in her 401k if that's not drained too.
Let's talk about the lessons we've learned. Let's remind each other that love is not about illusions. It's about standing strong, having boundaries, and seeking someone who truly sees and respects us for who we are. We all deserve happiness. We all deserve love. And most importantly, we deserve someone who truly sees us, not just for what we have, but for who we are. Let's learn, together, to love wisely and to choose partners who reflect respect, loyalty, and honesty. Partners who lift us up, rather than bring us down.
You heard her. Get busy, y'all.
Young boy. I still look for someone born in 00. Ha ha ha. Many people think that a dominant woman likes control, believing that finding someone younger means having control. But it's not like that.
Maybe not in China, but in America it is.
Young people are completely uncontrollable. If you've ever hired young employees, you know that they are difficult to control, because they can't be threatened. They can't be manipulated. They don't bend easily, and they don't strengthen under pressure. Their focus is only on their own happiness. So, when you interact with this kind of guy, you feel that he is more authentic. Why do women nowadays prefer to find a younger brother? I think there's another point. You can't deny that humanity is evolving, and we can't judge a person's mental and spiritual aspects just by age. I noticed this a long time ago. People born in the 70s have more spiritual maturity than those born in the 60s. Those born in the 80s have more than those born in the 70s. And someone born in the noughties has a higher spiritual level than someone born in the 90s. Just chatting with them, you realize, I'm from the 70s. But I struggle to communicate with someone from the 60s. However, when I talk to someone born in the noughties, he understands me instantly. Talking with my son, we both nourish each other. I get exactly what he's saying, and he instantly understands what I'm saying.
So basically, she feels that she has more of a connection with guys that are her son's age because she has a son and she understands everything that goes on in that age group. I don't hear that often, but that makes sense though. But she is right though. It seems like the boomers and beyond and the silent generation, they're toxic with how they judge the current generation. And see, the thing is, the boomers and the silent generation, which is our grandparents' generation, they didn't really say much. They just worked and it was basically just get up and shut up and hustle. Come home, be happy, take care of business. The silent generation was all about business. And they didn't put up with the complaining and everything like the way it is now. So that's how you kind of have to look at it now. Basically, in this current generation, people complain too much and they're too soft. Boomers think that we're soft. She's Gen X, so she's barely a decade away from being a boomer.
There was a moment when I lost emotional control in our family group. And while venting, it was my son who calmed me down. Surprising, right?
Yeah.
He empathized with me instantly, understood my situation without hesitation. If I were an older woman and looking for a boyfriend, I would choose someone born in the noughties. Someone who would come up and say, I understand you, rather than someone born in the 60s, who would criticize me every day, never understand me, and try to teach me with old excuses and arguments. From my perspective, as an independent and strong woman, I look for emotional value, affection, aesthetic value, and spiritual connections. I believe these young boys can provide all of that more easily. Did you know that older people have two problems? First, they have exceptional abilities and success in their careers, and they often become arrogant, wanting to teach others with an authoritative tone. The second group, on the other hand, comes from a history of failures.
That's because, see, boomers, whatever they did for work is pretty much their life. They based their whole life off of whatever job or career they had. And mind you, these jobs and organizations don't care about people like that. That's why people are saying screw a 9 to 5 in this generation. More and more people are working from home. They're doing the entrepreneurial route because they said, screw it. These jobs don't care about me anyway. So why should I exchange my blood, tears, and sweat towards a group of people that don't give a damn about me?
But still tries to teach others with an arrogant attitude. Between these two groups, which one is worth it? Neither. However, young people have an extra advantage. They often receive better education, have more diverse life experiences, and are less arrogant. They have a more open mindset, are more tolerant and understanding, and possess a higher spiritual level. It's more likely that they'll form a stronger genetic and emotional connection, and also create a physical affinity. For all these reasons, why choose a bad relationship when you can find someone who truly deserves it? A true relationship of value is one where both can admire each other, recognizing and respecting each other's merits and worth. It's this mutual connection and respect that ensure lasting and meaningful relationships.
All right.
The ending was devastating. If you don't want to keep supporting me, I'll destroy your family.
Oh.
In 2021, a wealthy woman from Shanghai, aged 42, spent over 2 million yuan to support a handsome 28-year-old man.
The hell?
After some time, the young man, seeking to make their relationship official, proposed to the wealthy woman. However, what followed was a terrible act of revenge.
Oh boy.
The outcome of this story is unimaginable. This woman, named Jiang Yu, was a senior executive at a Shanghai company, while her husband was an executive at another firm. Married for years, the couple had 2 sons. Despite being 42 years old, Jiang Yu took excellent care of herself and looked like she was under 30. As the saying goes, the higher the income, the greater the stress.
More money, more problems. I told you them executive people that work in corporate are crazy as hell. I don't know anybody that works in corporate. Maybe it's because they all entrepreneurs. Yeah, it's crazy. Or I take that back, I lied. I know people with tech jobs. I'm out here in the Bay Area. Most people I know work tech jobs Monday through Friday. But then I don't know a lot of people that work in healthcare besides myself and the people I work with. And yeah, just people, corporate office politics, them people are
Jiang Yu often went out to bars after work, without her husband's knowledge, to relax. In the vibrant nightlife, surrounded by flashing lights and youthful allure, she felt free and at ease. One night, she met Chen Xiaohu, a 28-year-old man. Born in a rural area, Xiaohu had a father addicted to gambling, who lost everything and left the family in debt. With no other choice, Xiaohu dropped out of school and moved to the city to work. In Shanghai, he dreamed of becoming like Xu Wenchang from the famous series Shanghai Bund, achieving success through hard work and ambition. But reality hit him hard. He realized Shanghai was full of highly educated talent and fearless individuals, and that the days of fighting for turf were long gone. After failing repeatedly to find a good job, Xiaohu ended up as a waiter in a bar. However, Xiaohu had an advantage: good looks, a fit body with chest and abs that women admired. Because of this, he became popular among wealthy female patrons. Jiang Yu, being a VIP at the bar, particularly enjoyed being served by Xiaohu, and the two became close. Eventually, after a night of drinking, they crossed moral and legal boundaries, beginning an extramarital relationship. From then on, Jiang Yu spent tens of thousands of yuan monthly on Xiaohu. With her support, Xiaohu paid off his father's gambling debts and even built a house in his hometown. To the locals, it seemed Xiaohu had achieved great success in the big city.
in which he did. Because he went to a thriving city without the education. So that means he was unable to get those big paying tech jobs with no college education. But he succeeded anyway off of his physical appearance and his social connections. See, it goes both ways. That college degree ain't everything.
Initially, Xiaohu intended to be an honorable man, but he realized that living off a wealthy woman was much easier and more comfortable. However, he feared that Jiang Yu might tire of him and move on to another young waiter. Determined to secure his future, Xiaohu bought flowers and a diamond ring with Jiang Yu's money and proposed to her. He believed that if he became official, he could enjoy a lifetime of financial stability. But Jiang Yu, being intelligent and experienced, rejected the proposal outright. She began to distance herself from him, effectively ending the relationship. Without her financial support, Xiaohu's income plummeted, and he couldn't handle the situation. In a fit of rage, he grabbed a knife and went to Jiang Yu's home. When Jiang Yu opened the door, she was immediately attacked. Xiaohu also severely injured her 2 sons before being stopped.
Now, the side piece got too comfortable. That's what happened. He got too comfortable. He didn't want that money to stop flowing in. And basically, he probably didn't see himself being a bartender his whole life. So, this happens. You got it until you don't have it no more. He temporarily had somebody else's income until he suddenly didn't, and he ruined it because he overstepped his boundaries. And she never said that she was about to divorce her current husband. So where in the hell did he get the idea to propose to a married woman?
Housekeeper called the police and all 3 were taken to the hospital, but her younger son succumbed to his injuries.
Damn.
Jiang Yu's husband was devastated upon learning the truth, seeing his family destroyed and his life ruined. Although Xiaohu was arrested and is awaiting trial, the tragedy left irreparable damage for everyone involved. This story shows that betrayal and unbridled ambition often lead to painful outcomes. What are your thoughts on this?
The ultimate betrayal.
At the moment when a 25-year-old guy hugged a billionaire woman and began acting all lovey-dovey, I finally understood what it means to be a real man. It's about knowing how to humble yourself while also elevating yourself. Take Dalinzi, for example. She's a billionaire woman who isn't exactly a beauty queen and has a body that approaches 200 pounds, yet she managed to snag a husband who's 10 years younger.
You know, I mean, he didn't want to give up that money.
After already cycling through multiple boyfriends. Their daily life is a mix of over-the-top romance. It's not uncommon for the husband to be cooking and suddenly Dalinzi jumps up behind him out of nowhere, or they share passionate kisses. When they're happy, she lovingly touches his muscles with her hands full of wealth and ambition. Their love is so intense that their life could be summed up in one word: surreal. That's why many internet users have gone to Dalinzi asking how to have a real love. The truth.
All right, so now I'm asking myself, would I choose her or would I choose Oprah Winfrey? I mean, we all can't look good or we all can't look beautiful, but I mean, she looks good enough for him. Just because it's like, what floats my boat ain't gonna float your boat. And she probably floats his boat, so to each his own, right? I mean, she's average looking. I've seen a lot worse than that, so to me, she looked good.
The truth is, having a real love is surprisingly simple and cheap. No need for impressive skills or talent. Just make sure he's taken care of financially and emotionally all year round, and throw in a lavish love nest that spans 300 square feet. When she made this statement, many assumed it was just another publicity stunt. Plus, despite her growing wealth, the sofas in her house were worn out with peeling leather.
Whoa.
Naturally, suspicions arose that everything was staged. But here's where it gets interesting. When you observe Dalinzi's husband, you see a man who looks at her with eyes overflowing with love. This suggests that their love isn't about appearances. It's about something deeper, more emotional and personal.
They say the eyes are the window to the soul, Chico. The eyes never lie.
It's honestly pretty funny. I'm not here to judge anyone this time.
This
I
time.
believe older men do the same thing. People with money, men and women alike, seek relationships with younger partners to escape the reality of getting older. And honestly, I don't see a problem with that.
Me
If
neither.
they believe it's not just an illusion or a transactional relationship masked as love, then good for them. In the end, these relationships are based on mutual interests. The young man wants stability and financial.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Let me know what you think about this. That was a cool video. That was a cool video. Shout out to All Asian Dilemmas. That was cool. I'll catch you on the next video. Peace.